Hey guys, I'm Ann. I'm a farm girl in the making, and I am here to participate in a collaboration with Homesteaders of America in regards to growing your garden. And we are excited to participate this month, and we wanted to show you what has already been dropped into the ground and what we're waiting to harvest come the fall season. But on top of that, I wanted to show you our polytunnel greenhouse, which we built for less than $40, and we absolutely love it. It's helped us tremendously during this growing season, but we also utilize it throughout the winter months as well. So stay tuned. Here we go. Our Brussels sprouts are doing quite well. They're going to get another round of fertilizing right now, and hopefully it's going to give them a little bit of a burst to produce a little bit more. We've got about 9 plants in here, and I'm excited because this is the first year that they've actually really truly thrived. Now we just need to get them growing. Our red cabbage is actually looking really good back here, and then the beets will be ready to harvest in a few short weeks, so we're really happy about that. We had a little bit of cabbage worms hit the place, but I think I was able to get that under control relatively quickly in order to get some good heads going on. These will be all used for fermenting, and we're going to make some great smoked kale kraut with this. The daikon radish bed is suffering ever so slightly, but so is the broccoli bed. For some reason, we're having the hardest time working with these beds here. The carrot bed needs to be harvested, and then I still might go ahead and plant a new round of new seeds, and then go ahead and put a polytunnel over this section right here. We've harvested quite a bit from here already. We struggled quite a bit when it came to planting ground cherries. We had to replant them twice. So a friend finally gave us starts. So now we've actually got some ground cherries happening, and I'm hoping, really hoping that I actually get a little bit of a harvest before the cold actually hits. Without fail, tons and tons of green tomatoes. I don't know. I don't know if the slicing tomatoes are going to make it through to another round or not, but it looks like I'll be canning up quite a bit of green tomatoes this year again. This is the very first year where my leeks have not been the size of a $50. I mean, a $50 round. This right here, this is such a disappointment. And I think what I need to do is just completely amend the soil beds in here for next year and actually get a lot more bang for my buck. Now, this one's not looking too bad. The herbs are still producing quite well. Like the basil is doing great still. My bay laurels are doing great. Those will be harvested and actually preserved for the winter time. The basil, we're going to go ahead and salt. The same thing with some rosemary, and then on top of that, some chives as well too. They're easy. When you salt things like that, they're extremely easy. So why not do it? And it adds great flavor to your foods too. The cherry tomatoes are finally starting to turn, and it looks like I'll have quite a bit of green ones, but we've got enough that we're going to be able to have a nice few salads out of these. This was not the tomato year for us in any way, shape, or form. This is some excitement right here. My last zucchini of the year right there, and I'm so excited to have it. I just cannot wait to get a hold of that and do a Thai stir fry with it. I'm excited. We tried a new variety of beans this year. They're called the market beans by Seed Saver, and I'm going to tell you, I love the flavor of these beans. And they are producing. They actually just started producing about a week and a half ago, and they are prolific. We are really enjoying them. And then towards the bottom here, we had the wax beans. I just went ahead and blanched them and stir-fried them in garlic and olive oil, and they were delicious that way. They didn't grow quite as tall, but they're still delicious. Out of the 4 plants that I planted, I've got two spaghetti squashes that will not even meet maturity. I'm telling you, the season's been horrible for us. Butternut squash, studded. Looks like I might have a little one growing back there, but it's a mess. It's a mess. I've never, ever suffered as bad as we have this year. The picking cucumbers are doing really, really well, and it looks like we'll be able to get through a couple more weeks of harvest from these guys, but we didn't need any more pickles this year, nor did we need relish. So what we did was we've been eating them fresh, and we've made a couple of pickled, refrigerated pickle recipes that I have on my website, and they've turned out fabulous. The peppers are doing really, really well in the greenhouse, and I'm really excited, but unfortunately, I may not get another harvest from these guys. I got one small one, but that's about it. The onions are curing. We already have put away half of what's here. So this is what's left. We pulled out half of the bed. Now these are the last of what's left here. So as soon as these are cured, these will get tucked away for winter eating too. If you haven't ordered your garlic yet, you better get on it. Seed garlic sells so fast, and that you just should look everywhere for it. Whoever your seed company is, use them, or else go online, look for Irish Eyes, for example. There's Garlic Gods, I think it's called, is a new one for me. I'm going to be ordering from them. So order your seed garlic now, or else you're going to be stuck without anything in the fall season, and you want to definitely plant them in the fall. So this is our polytunnel. This is what we built for under $40, and it's made out of PVC pipe and just very thin. It doesn't have to be thick. Our winds are not strong enough. So very thin plastic here. Let me give you a better, closer detail. The polytunnel was built because our tomatoes were suffering, and our tomatoes are still suffering. However, from a 6-inch studded plant that was dying completely, the polytunnel has given us a bunch of green Roma tomatoes, a bunch of them. Look at them all. So what I'll probably have is a lot of green tomato pasta sauce that I'll be putting up. Not a big deal. It's absolutely delicious, but I am going to miss being able to put up stewed tomatoes. This would have given me 300 pounds in this polytunnel alone, but I've got a lot of green tomatoes coming. Okay, so the next garden space I'm going to show you is not from the main garden, but it's going to be from the kitchen garden, the portager. This is a brand new garden space for us, and I was really hesitant in even trying to plant a fall garden, but I'm really glad that I decided to go ahead and give it a try this year and see what's going on with it, because we are actually thriving better in the kitchen garden than we are in the main garden. So let me give you a quick tour of that. But by the way, a full garden tour for the kitchen garden or portager is actually on the video right before this one. So if you want to see exactly what we did, why we did what we did, go ahead and view that video. It's about 6 minutes long. It's a very short video. So it'll actually encourage you to actually plant a kitchen garden and why we did it and what is the purpose behind a kitchen garden. On top of that, there's an article on my website all about designing your own portager or kitchen garden and how and what you need to look for when you design it and the purpose behind it. So let me give you a tour of this little space real quick. This particular bed right here has beets in it. We do a lot of beet eating around here. And this is just one of the smaller spaces. You can see an echinacea plant in there for medicinal purposes, but we also have bay laurel, and then on top of that, some collards on the very end. And much like anything in regards to a permaculture design, everything is just dropped as is. So lettuce is planted here, and then across from the lettuce, you'll see some celery as well too. And then of course, we're gonna stop over here at the oregano and a lot of rainbow chard. In this whiskey barrel, you're going to see some bunching onions that are about to get harvested. But then on top of that, we actually have some cabbage, a shorter maturity of cabbage here that's going to be transplanted all across the garden in the back to the main garden. I'm really excited. The fig plants took off really well. These were dropped in a planter because they're going to be brought closer to the house. But when we relocate, I wanted to take the figs with us. So I put it in a truly large ceramic planter, and then they'll be moving with us when we go. The kohlrabi, there was about 6 of them that were started really early on in season, and they're looking great. And behind the kohlrabi is actually the spinach that's finally after weeks starting to take off. Trellises were designed to be very unique. This is actually holding snow peas, and this is actually an old rail that we got at a salvage location. And of course it's roped with twine so everything can climb up nicely. The perfect thing about a kitchen garden is that you're not only planting perennials, you're planting annuals as well too. So as the fall garden ends and the spring garden starts, then from there we transition directly into summer. So there's plans for everything in this type of garden. So you're harvesting as you need to go from it. I was complaining about the slugs, so Justin put a beer bottle here for me today. If you ever wondered how tall a Jerusalem artichoke plant really gets, pretty tall. And then in the soil are excellent tubulars that are a little starchy, but absolutely delicious when cooked up. Don't forget, a full detailed view of the portage kitchen garden can be seen on the video right before this. But I'll also give you the link for the descriptions of what we used, how we used it, and what we planted and why we planted it in the links as well too. It goes to my blog post all about designing a portage. Okay, so the very last section of our fall garden actually ends in the front yard. We don't get a lot of sunlight up here, so it's really ideal for us to grow, things that are a little bit more delicate in the front yard. And because we don't get a lot of sun, I can't have a garden space, but I have a flower bed and that's about it. But now I can grow an entire garden utilizing this little green stalk tower. It's incredible. Hold on. So in this particular tower, I've got a full garden. I've got celery, collards, kale, cauliflower, and then on top of that, I've got beets and lettuce towards the very top. And I'm going to tell you, this is a 5-tier tower that holds up to, 30 cells, and I can grow whatever I would like in this tower. And on top of that, because of the casters, I can move this and rotate it any which way that needs it for the sun. I did forget to mention the kohlrabi, but it's actually thriving as well too. And the Italian kale is actually finally taken off. All right, you guys, that's what I have for fall this year. And it's going slow. It's a slow process. I think definitely next year I'm gonna get my soil tested and I'm gonna see what I'm lacking in it. The raised beds in the back are gonna get broken off, and that's okay. We're gonna break them off into multiple beds instead of 3 really large ones, but that's for next year. So right now I'm just truly enjoying the summer garden and waiting for the harvest to come and just closing it off and enjoying the season for what it is. I'm tired. It's been a long summer. Hasn't been as fruitful as I would have hoped it to be, but that's okay. We're just going to continue to move forward with what we have and hope that the fall garden is going to be just a little bit more lucrative than what summer gave us.